The beautiful night skies in the capital parish of Jamaica, Kingston and St. Andrew. We're here at the National Stadium East Field, and just look at those lights for this big fixture. Dunbeholden, the 2022 finalists, against five-time champions Arnett Gardens. 5th versus 6th in the Ray & Nephew Jamaica Premier League. Exciting encounter, the mood is set. Let's hear from our coaches, Linworth Teacher Hyde for Dunbeholden and Xavier Gilbert for Arnett Gardens.
Coach Gilbert, last time out against Cavalier, the intensity didn't look as well intense as it has looked for the start of the season so far. What do you think that was down to? What has been fixed? How are you feeling in this game? What are your thoughts?
I mean, we'll see if it's fixed tonight. Definitely, as I said, the intensity wasn't as what would have hoped. It was a heavy schedule during that period. But nevertheless, we got a little days, a couple of days to see if we can fix some of the things. And we really want to start tonight. It's going to be a tough game. Or close the table is now, and they're right behind us. Both teams coming off a loss, so both teams really want to get back to winning ways. So we expect a tough encounter, and hopefully we can execute tonight and become the victors at the end.
It was 0-0 between both teams in the first encounter of the season, but it was a young team for each manager. What do you think has changed? Are you expecting a similar game today?
Hopefully not. Hopefully we can do better and become victorious tonight. But let's got to be patient, move the ball a lot quicker than what we have been doing, and execute in front of goal.
Coach Hyde, you know, for anyone who knows you, knows your coaching philosophy, it's an attacking style. But for Dunbeholden so far, it's 13 goals in 13 games. Is that something that you're looking to improve as the season goes on, starting tonight?
What we need to improve on is our defensive work. We are giving up too much goals, and that is the aim tonight. We are trying to get a clean sheet tonight. We are giving up too much goals, and from we have a clean sheet, we score goals, you know. But that is the focus now.
And it was a clean sheet the first time you played Arnett Gardens. Is there did you figure them out in that game? Is there something that you're going to bring from that game into this one?
Yeah, we just have to defend well. You know, everybody have to take part in the defensive work of the team. I'm not getting that from everybody, so we are working on that to try to see if we can stop goals from scoring on us. That is the most important thing.
Yeah, defensive work is what he wants to see. Linworth Teacher Hyde from his Dunbeholden team. There is the head-to-head graphic, 0-0 earlier this season, and then they shared results last season. Arnett Gardens with a Fabian Reid winner, defeating them by 1-0, and before that a 6-goal thriller with Dunbeholden coming out on top. In fact, in that match, Ricardo Thomas, their captain at the time and left back, with a brace in that 4-2 win. One of the goals in that match was scored by Fabian Reid as well. So he has certainly enjoyed this fixture, has Fabian Reid, and he is in the starting lineup today as well with his 1 goal so far this season. Before that, as you can see, it was total Arnett Gardens domination over a Dunbeholden team that was fresh to the Premier League and to the highest level of football in Jamaica. So the stage is set. Arnett Gardens are in 5th, Dunbeholden are in 6th, both coming off of losses, but both with deep squads and talent all around the park. And we certainly expect goals, which starved us, if you want to call it, in October of last year. Chris Taylor, I'm still here with Lige Williams, who was on interview duty, and yeah, people coming into the stands, piling into the stands. A rather cool night here at the National Stadium East complex. And the Arnett Gardens team, as you can see there, getting themselves in order. There's Fabian Paco Blacks Reid, a man who scored 75 goals in his Premier League career. He spent some time earlier this season in India, and his experience over there didn't go according to plan, so he decided to return to Jamaica and has on the captain's armband as well. Scored in his first appearance back in that, well, they had a win on that occasion. And yeah, 1 goal and an assist in that game. Got the man of the match award as well. And yeah, Arnett Gardens just really didn't turn up against Cavalier, Lige, as you had said earlier. It was a very flat performance. I mean, credit must be given to Cavalier. They really outplayed Arnett Gardens in that match. but you'd like to think Arnett Gardens are not really down and out for long, even though it must be a bit of a concern that they have had 2 losses in their last 3 games.
Yeah, I think a lot of thought must go into that as they approach this game, especially seeing that it's against a top 6 rival. Dunbeholden, their coach mentioned, trying to improve on defense. Only 3 clean sheets on the season, so it's definitely a worry for them. A negative goal difference as well, so that's definitely something they want to look at.
Yeah, definitely something they want to look at. Stephen Duar, he'll be looking at a lot of things in the middle. The central referee as he makes his way out. And there is Ricardo Thomas wearing the captain's armband again for Dunbeholden. Had 2 goals in this fixture last season in their 4-2 win. 2-sided player, Ricardo Thomas. One of the few players that I've seen that actually kicks penalties with both his right foot and his left foot, and even in the same game. Very balanced. Very balanced was this scoreline. The last time they met, it was 0-0 on the 23rd of October. And I'm sure we'll be expecting a lot more goals tonight. It's a fixture that is always entertaining. We have seen 33 goals between these 2 teams. Let's pause for the playing of the national anthem. Jamaica, and one of the well-favoured national anthems around the world, the Jamaican national anthem, as the Arnett mascot makes his way down the line, along the line. Some important players back as well for Arnett Gardens. You see Joel Cunningham back into the starting lineup, a big deal for them. And with Fabian Reid's absence, he held the captain's armband in Joel Cunningham. During the national anthem, you saw Eric Edwards in the stands, so he's still injured and out. And it means that the teenager Asher Hutchinson is between the sticks. Stephen Duar, as we said earlier, the man with the whistle. Stephanie Dale Yeesing, Keneal Wright, and Romario Francis, the assistants. Stephanie Dale Yeesing, FIFA assistant referee. There she is beside Stephen Duar, right on screen. Fabian Reid, the captain of Arnett Gardens, and Ricardo Thomas, the captain of Dunbeholden. Of course, Ricardo Thomas, a season ago, made a move from Waterhouse. So many of the players after that season from Waterhouse, where they ended the preliminary round on top, only to finish 4th after the playoffs. Ricardo Thomas was a part of that Waterhouse team, then came across to this Dunbeholden team. Damien Hyatt is back between the sticks. That will be a good sign for them. He was out the week before. Burton Watkins remains in the starting lineup, and Wilkes will be his partner in the back line. Shakeen Powell and Donovan Sigree. Fabian McCarthy, a big name back. He was out with a hamstring injury last time out. Roger Smith, Stephen Williams, Thomas, who we mentioned, and Nicholas Nelson, their leading goal scorer, back in the starting lineup with 6 goals.
Yeah, 6 goals, but scoreless in the last 6 game weeks. He'll be looking to fix that form because he has been such a light for this Dunbeholden team so far this season.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of indiscipline in the Dunbeholden squad, hence why so many players were left out in the last game. And Fabian McCarthy, who usually, well, solidifies the back line in that defensive midfield role, was out with injury. And I think he will make a big difference for Dunbeholden. This is how Arnett Gardens will shape up. As we mentioned, Eric Edwards still injured, so Asher Hutchinson, the teenager, is there. Shane Watson, Philando Wing, Gerald Neal will partner Joel Cunningham. Marlon Martin is back from injury, their defensive midfielder as well. Jamon Shepherd, Jaheim National Thomas, the impressive 20-year-old midfielder. Fabian Reid, the ever-present goal scorer. Warner Brown, the talented former Stats forward. And Shea Smith will add some width as well, their number 11. And spent a lot of time at Holy Trinity where he went to school. Two impressive lineups. How you like in Arnett Gardens?
Yeah, typical 4-3-3. That's what we expected. It's going to be interesting to see how they utilize Warner Brown. I know Xavier Gilbert has complained about the lack of width at times in this Arnett Gardens team. And we're off. Let's see how they're utilized.
Well, with Warner Brown in the lineup and playing 4-3-3 with Fabian Reid there, Warner Brown is going to be asked to play in one of the wide areas. And as you said, Warner Brown, a natural striker, not necessarily a wide player. So it'll be interesting to see how he adapts to that role. And here he is tackling their number 9 as Dunbeholden in their full blue with red trim. Keep it away. This man on the ball, Jaheim Thomas, what a find he has been for Arnett Gardens. Played all his football in the Costa Cup with Dintil. And yeah, 3 goals so far this season for Jaheim Thomas. They call him national, and he's a real quality within the middle of the park.
And some of those goals that he has scored have been absolutely fantastic as well. Especially his last at Cork in Half Valley, Anthony Spalding Sports Complex.
Yeah, technically very sound, Jaheim Thomas. And he's getting a lot more game time with the exit of Ajuma Johnson, who would have played that attacking midfield role. Free kick for Arnett Gardens is going to be taken by Philando Wing with the left foot, and it's a bit disappointing, even though it did find a red shirt initially. And now Nicholas Nelson will give Martin some work, and that's a poor challenge, is it? No, Duarte doesn't blow.
A bit surprising there because there did seem to be contact.
Yeah, I don't think it was really a shoulder to shoulder. There's Lenworth Teacher Hyde, head coach at Dunbeholden, and his concerns are their defensive problems at the moment, conceding 15 goals in their 13 games. You know, surprisingly, Leger, I hear him regarding the defense. I actually don't think they don't have the worst defensive record by any stretch of the imagination. They are like about middle table with that. But I think 13 goals in 13 games for a Dunbeholden team that we're used to scoring is more of a concern to me. I mean, he said they will score goals, but 13 in 13, they haven't actually been knocking the lids off teams.
And especially because they had to wait, I think, 4 or 5 games to get a goal. Nicholas Nelson scoring their first 6 goals of the season as well. Hasn't scored since, but I'm with you. I think that their attack hasn't been the best, especially for a team that wants to challenge for a playoff berth. And when you think about the teams ahead of them, all in the 20s, they have to play some catch-up.
Yeah, 6 goals, Nelson, and then the next best is 2, so they're heavily reliant on Nelson, which is also part of the problem. So now that he has gone for such a stretch without scoring, who else is going to pop up with goals? Driving forward, and it's broken up eventually. Good to see that both defensive midfielders back, one for either team. Both number 8s, McCarthy, such a needed member for this Dunbeholden team, and then Marlon Martin. Both 2 seasons ago were in the top 3 of defensive midfielders in the Premier League at the end of the season. As we see Xavier Gilbert trod in his area. He must be concerned with 2 losses in 3 games, and he was totally outplayed by Cavalier last time out. Of course, National women's coach, Reggae Girls coach, or interim as you would say, but yeah, he's at the helm of the Reggae Girls, Xavier Gilbert. Played junior cricket for Jamaica as well at the under-19 level, Xavier Gilbert. Very talented cricketer in his time, attended St. George's. Dunbeholden with the free kick. From some way out, and it's just off target. Good power behind it.
I think sometimes our angle deceives us, Chris Taylor. Not for the first time that we've thought a shot was going much closer than it actually did.
Burton with a strike. Hutchinson had it covered. But yeah.
Bit of a cagey start to the game so far. A couple of fouls on either side. It's not going to be a shot, I think, this time from Thomas.
No, I think Thomas will be looking to engage the far post with this one. So you want to start it 6-yard box. That's too shallow from Thomas. And easy work for Arnett Gardens.
Fabian McCarthy, as you mentioned, one of the premier defensive midfielders in the Jamaica Premier League for quite some time.
Yeah, for sure. But quite a versatile player when he was playing. Oh, nice pass into Nelson. Nelson looking to link up, and then that shot is rushed from Ricardo Thomas. Wanted to hit it on the volley, but got it wrong.
Yeah, I think he had more time than he thought, Ricardo Thomas.
Hasn't scored so far this season. Was it 4 last season? 2 came in this fixture. There's Nelson. Who had a bit of a niggle in the last one. Sat out the entire game. And now fully fit and ready. We'd like to end the scoring drought. Wing. Back to Watson. Watson across to Cunningham.
Arnett Gardens, I think, doing something that we don't see very often at the top level of football anywhere. 2 left-footed centre-backs.
Yeah, that's very unusual.
It'll be very interesting to see if Dunbeholden employ a press to disrupt that.
Here is Nelson. And he's brought down by Watson. And there's a yellow card right away from Stefan Duar. Not impressed by the challenge coming in from Watson. Another player who spent quite a bit of time at Waterhouse, Shane Watson, coming over to Arnett Gardens, and he's the first player in the book in just the 8th minute.
Yeah, as I said, it's been a cagey game, and that was a big elbow. He struck into the face of Nicholas Nelson.
And let me tell you, he is lucky that it stayed at yellow, because the use of the elbow could easily have been a red card from Stefan Duar. I would love to see that again, and that looks like an intentional elbow as well. Nothing accidental about that. He is lucky, you know, Watson. And let's hope it's not much damage done to Nicholas Nelson, who is just coming off of injury. This is it here, Ligier. Let's look at that. That is a poor chance. That's a red card. That is a red card for me, or at least an orange. And a very deep orange. There was nothing accidental about that. Wasn't going to use the forearm or even the hand to guard. You can actually see how he bent the arm to expose the elbow and went in at Nelson with that. You're certainly watching the SportsMax app. sure he'll be very impressed with the challenge when he does pick it up. Nelson is still down. Making his way up now, still feeling his cheek. I don't like that challenge at all anyhow. Stefan Dua was some way away, so maybe from his angle he thought that maybe it's more of a forearm, but had they had replays here, I think he would have been called to the screen to have a look at that.
Yeah, I think so as well, and he's, what can I say, dusted himself off, because he's the one who's going to take the set piece, Nicholas Nelson, trying to exact some revenge. Probably the purest way possible. The way he knows how as well.
Interesting
6-goal man.
Yeah. Interesting angle as well that he'll kick it from. Asher Hutchinson setting up his wall. What can Nelson produce? Nelson goes to the near post, but can't beat the line of defense. And then tries to be smart about it and gives it away.
And they're trying a quick transition there, but Jaheim Thomas impeded after a wayward pass.
Nice pass from Cunningham. Smith favors the left foot, does Smith. Cuts in, Smith with a strike. Blocked by Chevoy Watkin. And away comes Dunbeholden. This game has a nice tempo to it as well. Nelson looks to play Stephen Williams in. And it's blocked by Watson. And let's see if they target the flank of Watson, especially since he's on a yellow. The right pass there from Ricardo Thomas forces Nelson out wide. Would have been better served going inside on that occasion, Ricardo Thomas. But anyhow, this attack looks a lot more dynamic with Nicholas Nelson in it. A lot more activity, always a willing run. A very busy player is Nicholas Nelson, so can play in that pocket behind the strikers as well. Versatile like that, but I like the Dunbeholden team. I think they're a lot better with him on the park. Williams. That ball actually came off a defender. Stephen Williams is called for offside. I'm a bit surprised. I don't think Stephanie Dale-Easton got that right at all. She flagged for offside, but the touch was off of an Arnett Gardens player. Anyhow. Thomas trying to force the pass as well. Smith does well though. Oh, lovely pass. Great hit by Nelson! And it's wide. Stefan Dua appeals for a penalty. He says no. Goal kick given. What a chance though for Nicholas Nelson. There's a nice pass from Shaquem Powell to play him in, and I love how he allowed the ball to come across his body, Ligier. Look at the move here from Powell. Just comes across his body very well. Oh, there was a push. I think that's what Nelson is trying to say. The arms were extended, and there was a clear push in the back on Nelson, which affected his ability to finish, to take the shot.
I think a couple of the Arnett Gardens players are towing the line a bit in terms of their physicality.
Was that Gerald Neal there who, with the push in the back? And I think there are a couple incidents that they have gotten away with. I definitely think, looking back at that replay again and again, that Watson should have been off for that. Yeah, I don't think there should be any tolerance for an intentional elbow like that to the face, especially. And looking back at that one with Nelson, that might have been a penalty on another day.
Yeah, they can call themselves fortunate for sure. Arnett Garns, but Dunbeholden, he's still putting on the pressure.
Yeah, into the area yet again. Arnett Garns clear. Warner Brown has been forced to get deep to help out. They give it away again. Here goes Stephen Williams. Williams, that would be easy for Hutchinson. Arnett Garns tried to settle the game. They were definitely unable to settle the game against Cavalier. Totally outplayed, looked flat, looked very narrow as well, and never adjusted to the Cavalier formation. And Cavalier in that game decided to move from 3 at the back to 4. And Arnett Garns just never really adjusted. They looked very narrow and didn't have a clue what to do. And they look a bit out of sorts here as well against Dunbeholden, who have started the better of the two.
Certainly look a bit more comfortable, especially in possession. More orderly. You mentioned Arnett Garns not knowing, or looking like they're not knowing what to do.
Here's Nelson, who's been in the thick of things. I'm not sure what that was. That's definitely not a pass from Nelson. Nelson is complaining, but that pass was crazy.
I think maybe he expected someone to be holding the width on the right-hand side, but
yeah, but even
I look up.
Even if Donovan Segree was making a run, there was no way he was going to get to that pass. That was heavily overhit. Donovan Segree actually playing on the right, but a very left-sided player. Mount Pleasant a season ago was definitely was put on the short list for the national call-up because he was easily the best left back that season, and because he's such a versatile player, even from his days at Jamaica College. Donovan Segree could play in the left midfield role because he has that passing ability and good touch, technically good, but also a willing left back and can drive forward and good defensively too. So a good kind of squad player. Got injured late in the season and resulted in him being on the bench a lot in the back part of his Mount Pleasant time, and now in a Dunbeholden shirt. Smith. Back to McCarthy. There's a clear down for Dunbeholden. It is Ricardo Thomas. Not sure what has happened there.
Seems as if he was indicating that he got hit in the face area. Talented bench of Dunbeholden as well there, but clearly unhappy, Ricardo Thomas.
And he's saying that to Stefan Duar, that what's going on here, and obviously let's see it here. It's again an arm, and is it Watson again?
Might have been him or Wing actually on that left hand side, but
might have been Philando Wing with the arm, but yeah, again an unnecessary arm, and had that been spotted,
that's another instance where a red card could have been brandished.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that one would have been a red card based on the arm. It was actually Warner Brown with the arm, as that strike goes over the top from Stephen Williams. It was actually Williams earlier, not Burton, who had that strike from distance from the dead ball that fizzed wide. But yeah, that shot didn't have the same kind of pace or venom behind it and was always going high. Yeah, I'm not sure that challenge from Brown would have been a red card looking at it, but it certainly would have been a booking off the ball incident. And Arnett Garns just need to be careful. Their last game out, they didn't finish with 11 players against Cavalier because Amos was sent off with a red card. And they have had that tendency, especially in games that they're struggling or things that's not totally going their way. And this is shaping up as one of those, as Martin doing battle in the middle of the park with Smith. Thomas. Haven't seen much of him so far. That's a foul from Smith. Not sure if Fabian Reid has even touched the ball yet. And here's Fabian McCarthy. One of the things he's very good at too is just controlling the tempo of the game, McCarthy. Has played in more advanced roles as well, especially when he was at the UWI team. He was much more of an expressive midfielder in that occasion. Nice pass. Here's a chance inside the 18-yard for Arnett Gardens. Played back to Martin. Looking for Smith. And Smith keeps it in, does well, but his cross is overhit. And is picked up now by Wing, and Wing's cross is disastrous.
You could hear the audible groans from the crowd, from his bench as well, possibly even from his teammates. But that has summed up the first 20 minutes, I think, for Arnett Gardens. Struggling in all aspects.
Not as big a crowd as you would expect when Arnett Gardens is playing, but their assistant coach from the stands is there, for sure. Dunbeholden, that is. In fact, usually he's a lot more vocal. What a pass that is. Finds Nelson. Nelson across the area. And a missed kick from Neil. It actually threw off Powell, who was coming in. Shaquille Powell, who actually has a goal and an assist already this season, as play is broken up again by McCarthy. Now to Sigree. Sigree, lovely pass from Sigree. And just couldn't sort out his feet on that occasion, Nicholas Nelson.
Third time now, Dunbeholden has penetrated at Arnett Gardens' back line with a lovely through pass.
Here's Thomas, and Thomas is fouled. Again, there's a push. This time it's from Thomas, but they're being out-hustled, Arnett Gardens.
Every coach always harps on about the fact that you need to win your duels, you need to win your first and second balls. Dunbeholden certainly the team on top in that aspect so far in this game.
Yeah, the 50-50s are going their way, Dunbeholden.
And especially I asked Coach Xavier Gilbert before the game about the intensity in that Cavalier game, because that was a big issue in that 3-0 loss. And it's an issue in the first 21 minutes in this encounter as well.
Owen Hill. Right of screen, having conversations there. CEO of the PFGL. Fans still looking for this game to take off. There's a break in play, of course, because down is Philando Wing getting some attention. Flag bearers getting active, and the stands are getting a little bit more populated, but as I said, the Arnett Gardens contingent not as big as we usually see. Arnett Gardens support there. Will be a free kick for Dunbeholden, and Roger Smith will deliver. Smith. Oh, that's an awful delivery from Smith. Gets that wrong. Usually good from the dead ball, Roger Smith. Spent some time at Harbourview, and former Woolmer's standout, Roger Smith, at the high school level.
Interesting nickname of Nasri. Not a footballer you often associate with getting those nicknames, but you can see it in his style of play, can't you?
Yeah, fair enough. Had some really good years at Arsenal and then moved on to Man City. Samir Nasri, Frenchman. Actually a very talented player, a bit temperamental though, and some will say Smith is as well. Here is Philando Wing. Finds the back of Donovan Sigree. Inside to Thomas, who gives it away, trying to be a little bit too fancy. And it will be a Dunbeholden throw. Long throw by Thomas, looking for Williams, can't find him. And then it goes with a chance to come away. Fabian Reed has had nothing going for him so far, but he's that kind of player that all he needs is one sneak preview, and he'll give you more than a trailer.
Yeah, the whole movie.
Here goes Nelson. Nelson, nice pass, inside. Back pass, chance! Williams off the crossbar, follow up, what a save by Asher Hutchinson. The left-footed volley from Nicholas Nelson. Asher Hutchinson with a telling save between the sticks. The tin-tail custodian saves the blushes for Arnett Gardens, at least for now. Big chance, Dunbeholden.
Cat-like reflexes from the Arnett #1 there. Excellent play from Dunbeholden. Really good attempt, but what a save that was.
That's a top save with the right hand from the schoolboy. The pass was nice to Stephen Williams with the right foot, but what a follow from Nelson. Just look at this here. You're certainly beaten from that one. Couldn't see much because of the crowd of defenders in front of him, but what a strong right hand. In fact, it looked like it actually came off his wrist in the end. That's a top save. He was actually higher than his hand in the end. Acrobatic save from Asher Hutchinson, one of the best schoolboy keepers in the league. And yeah, that will be one of the saves of the season, I can tell you that. Brought some excitement to the crowd. We're still locked at 0. Crossfield pass again into Williams. Nice delivery, well defended from Watson, by Watson. Oh, what a take from Fabian Reed. Finally gets a touch. He has to come so deep to get it. And now Martin looks to free Smith. Smith in a commanding position as he drives forward. And that is top defending by Chevoy Watkin.
I think that cut-in was very telegraphed. Shea Smith, a very left-sided player. I think he just tried to cut in on that left foot a bit too early. Probably could have gone to the byline.
As they always do, left footers. But yeah, as you said, maybe didn't drop that right shoulder enough. Very high tempo game. Stefan Duar, very fit. Approaching mid-30s now, Stefan Duar. Policeman as well. We've seen quite a few JCF personnel as referees as well, and Stefan Duar, another one of them, would have been ranked 3rd in terms of central referees out of Jamaica at the FIFA level, behind Danian Parchment and O'Shane Nation. Talking about Woolmerians, he is a Woolmerian as well, Stefan Duar. See the sweat pouring off of him because the tempo of this game is so high. End-to-end stuff, well, not really end-to-end, but back and forth. Can't say that Arnett Gans have really got to the end of Dunbeholden just yet. Here is Shepherd, hasn't seen it much, looking for Reed. Dangerous kind of ball, but Wilkes was aware.
And had to be.
Yeah. Wilkes and Watkin doing a solid job so far, but this game is only 26 minutes old, 28 minutes old. Still a long way to go.
It's going to be Shane Watson to trot across to take this one.
Dunbeholden slowing it down a bit, coming out of the area, now long pass. And it goes out of bounds and into touch.
Not that they should be showing any extreme signs of urgency. Of course, Dunbeholden in a 0-0 game state, but I do think that they would want to get that goal to really take advantage, as another high hand from an Arnett Gardens player to a Dunbeholden one. Warner Brown again.
Didn't see the first one. The bench is off. And Stefan Dua is calming the bench, saying, look, keep yourself under control. Attacking the fourth official because they're not happy that the fourth official didn't really get involved. It's the second time Warner Brown has done it. The first time, yeah, he should have gotten that. And I think had Stefan Dua seen it the first time, or the assistant, he would have been in the book already. And I think deservingly so, even if this one is not as bad. He should have gotten a yellow card the first time. And that needs to be cut out. I agree with Stefan Dua that these kind of arms that are being thrown from the team. Oh, yes. Yeah. This time, no elbow, fingers, but I agree. Get him in the book and send a message to the other 21 players on the park. That won't be accepted.
And I think this is common practice, especially in Jamaican football, using your hands to shield the ball.
Well, it's done right throughout the world, but even at the international level, there's definitely a directive for them to stamp that out, and we've seen a lot more cards being shown for flaying hands.
But I think especially if you look at European football, a lot of the coaches take measures to even cut it out before it even gets to game states, from youth football, even in senior football as well. I know, well, I have a coach, I support a team of a coach that is a visionary in Mikel Arteta. He uses tennis balls in training, or players hold tennis balls in training so they can avoid using their hands in game situations. So I think a lot of directives like that in Jamaican football would help us a chance here.
Headed on from Stephen Williams, but into the safe arms of Asher Hutchinson. But yeah, in football you will always need to use your arms, but it's the hands, as you said. So tennis balls will stop you from using those hands, fingers, whatever, but arms will always be used in football because you need to defend your space, command the area, as they would say, as Shea Smith, well, just about kept that in play but turned it over. But because of the nature of football and the aggression and the fact that it is a contact sport, if you don't play with your arms, you welcome defenders. And as Stephen Williams pulled up there, he's holding his right knee, I think, or right hamstring. I think the hamstring is gone. I think that's it for Stephen Williams. And right away, Stephen Barnett has gone to warm up. That's it for Stephen Williams. Tried to sprint after the ball, really went after it, and then all of a sudden grabbed his leg. And yeah, both Barnett and Burkett warming up.
Yeah, that one was pretty evident right away. Tried to turn on the Jets, but definitely his body didn't hold up to that one. Silver lining for Dunbeholden is they have two very talented attackers. Brian Burkett, of course, 22 goals in schoolboy football this past season for St. George's College. And Stephen Barnett, someone who has had a lot of success in this league. Started many of Dunbeholden's games last season.
Yeah,
has been rotated in and out this season, but is certainly a player with a lot of quality.
I wouldn't be surprised. Well, Barnett has been struggling in terms of goal scoring, and because Williams is playing a bit deeper, I'm wondering if they might go for Burkett, who maybe adds a little bit more, because Burkett definitely more creative than Barnett. Yeah, Burkett definitely more creative than Barnett, and I think Dunbeholden could do a bit of that. They're certainly checking out the app. So yeah, Burkett can play also in the wide positions, can play in a more advanced role, and then can play as a midfielder. So a little bit more versatile than maybe Barnett, who is a striker. by nature and has been struggling in terms of goals. He's still yet to get off the mark this season.
And Brian Burkett is one of those players, one of the few players that has gotten a goal for Dunbeholden this season. Got a 91st minute winner a couple weeks ago. And here he is about to come on the St. George's College standout.
So they have opted to go for Burkett, and I agree with Lenworth Hyde here. I think it gives him more options.
And I think it's so they can keep the game plan that they have currently instituted. The game state dictates that it is working so far. I think if you were to bring on Barnett, he would force Nicholas Nelson a bit deeper, which he can operate in those spaces. But Burkett is a much more natural replacement for Stephen Williams, as you mentioned.
Although on paper they went in with a 4-4-2 with Williams and Nelson playing the two forward positions. Yeah, I just wonder if the formation might just morph a bit. But let's look and see, because Burkett has gone into that forward role. But what I like about Burkett is, as you said, because he, I think, is more of a natural attacking midfielder, he can play slightly behind as well. He's that kind of player also like Nelson, who can do both. So anyhow, I think a little bit more dynamic there. Anyhow, unfortunate for Williams, and I guess only time will tell the severity of the tear and how long he will be out.
Yeah, but it certainly didn't look good on initial viewing. Dunbeholden getting started again. Watkin. Powell dropping a bit deep. Foul again against Arnett Gardens. McCarthy doing really well to hold off his experienced counterpart. Smile on his face. He knows it's a battle out there. Clearance by Cunningham on that occasion. And Arnett Gardens must be quite glad to have him back, as Dunbeholden gets further instruction from their school of assistant coaches or fan assistant coaches. Another throw-in foul. It was actually initially for Dunbeholden. It's going to be for Arnett Gardens now. Nicholas Nelson again down. He's really been in the wars today or tonight. Offside call against Fabian Reed on that occasion. Still struggling to set a real foothold in this game, Fabian Reed. So too all of Arnett Gardens really. Dunbeholden, just as they're suffocating them in this press, as another hand goes to a face there. Here's Burkett's first touch, and he's tripped up by Marlon Martin. But just as Dunbeholden are suffocating Arnett Gardens with the press on that occasion, it's been like that for the entire game. They've looked first best, second best, and sometimes even third best in most occasions. So here's Segree, comfortable for Hutchinson.
Yeah, well, he was certainly best there, Hutchinson. Everything behind it. Already with one of the saves of the season, if not the save of the season. Very impressive, Dunbeholden's performance so far in this first half. They have really nullified the attack of Arnett Gardens. And look at this. Synergy up front with their main players coming back into the squad. Nicholas Nelson, Fabian McCarthy, even Damian Hyatt between the sticks, has instilled a lot more confidence in this unit. Ricardo Thomas has also made his way back into the starting lineup, missing the last few. And the captain's armband as well. So a a much stronger unit to me, Dunbeholden, versus what we saw in their last match.
Brian Burkett a bit too forceful on Martin on that occasion. It must be said though, I'm not quite sure the reason, but a lot of build-up issues, I think, for Arnett Gardens, struggling to get the ball from back to front comfortably and then keep it there in the final third. The pressure from Dunbeholden is clearly one of the reasons. I think a lack of quality and movement as well in the middle third has affected them greatly. Sometimes a lack of width as well. I wondered if the two left-footed centre-backs would have been an issue. It hasn't posed too many difficulties thus far, but too many of these type of passes attempted, not enough central progression. And Chris, that is what all of the top teams in world football want to achieve, central progression. Try to get their best players, getting them in between the lines, trying to get them within kind of the width of the 18-yard box and cause problems there, as Damian Hyatt needs some assistance. So
yeah, it comes through the middle, and then they export the ball, for want of a better word, wide into those wide wingers. As you know, it's a game of pace now, so it's with the wide men. But I agree with you that in the central positions as well, there is control, and then it's utilized. It's not just one-dimensional in terms of start. Gone are the days of just this long pass, looking for someone over the top. So certainly agree that football a lot more dynamic now, as Damian Hyatt will need attention. But both these teams, as I say, going through a bit of a rough patch, both with 2 losses in 3 games. Of course, Arnett Gardens lost 2-0 to Portmore and 3-0 to Cavalier. And in between that, they had a 2-0 win over Treasure Beach, so 2 losses in 3. Dunbeholden, 2-0 last time out against Harbourview, as we see Alex Thomas, who was at the helm of Arnett Gardens for a period, also played for them when he was still playing. Recently was in charge of Malines and taking in the proceedings. Former under-20 captain as well, Alex Thomas, when he played, had 1 cap for the senior team. Was actually a part of the under-20 team that went to the World Cup, Alex Thomas. Nice skill. Now into the area. Chance for Burkett. Appeals for handball. Dua says no. Now with Smith. To Nelson, who's trying to do a little bit too much, and they turn it over. Now a chance for Arnett Gardens to come forward. It's a poor pass. Burkett to chase. Foul from wing. And yet another free kick for Dunbeholden.
Aggression is a trait that is very valuable in modern football. Of course, you don't want to be without that, but safe to say that Arnett Gardens have been a bit too aggressive on a lot of occasions so far in this first half.
Donovan Segree to deliver with the left foot, and well, dipping viciously, but wide of the target. And in the end, nothing to worry about for Asher Hutchinson,
who has sometimes not been the best judge of crosses coming in. He did well on that occasion, however.
Fabian Reed, who's had to work off of scraps so far. And it goes turn it over again. Now with McCarthy to Sigree. Back to McCarthy. McCarthy now to Thomas. Dunbeholden controlling things. That control wasn't the best from Sigree though. And neither was that pass. Nice movement. Here's Wilkes driving forward. Wilkes, the centre back, looking to make inroads. And it comes back now to Sigree. Nice pass between Nelson out to Wilkes. Can't quite find its way on that occasion to Powell, who was venturing forward as well. And Thomas is down again. Took a hit to the face. Did Ricardo Thomas. He's been in a war so far this evening. Ricardo Thomas, the captain.
As he tends to be always very impactful in games, but the impact was against him on that occasion.
Just look at it here. A clearance from Philando wing right into the jaw of Ricardo Thomas, and he is down on the count. Three minutes of stoppages to be played. Almost completed a minute of it already. Sigree pass inside to Powell. Powell pushing Nelson a little bit too wide. Now back to Thomas. Nice 1-2 play. Thomas over the top, and that will be through to Hutchinson, no problems. Well, just as we saw in the first match of the day, it seems as if we're heading to a 0-0 scoreline after 45 minutes.
Hopefully the game can replicate what we saw in the first game as well. Seeing a couple goals in that one. A couple of good ones as well.
Yeah, the second half was a lot more lively. Arnett Gans looking to finish the half the livelier of the two, but they turn it over yet again. Very unlike them.
Well, based on the evidence that we've seen over the last couple weeks, this might be the norm now.
In the last minute of stoppages, slowing down things. Here's Watson. Cunningham. Cross to Neal. Well, that touch was poor. Shepherd to Thomas. All very narrow from Arnett Garden's perspective, and that wasn't a good pass. It comes out now to Nelson. Nelson shows a lot of it to Martin, who does well. Here goes Smith. This will be their last attack of the first half. Shea Smith. To Wing. Wing across the area. And that will be that. So, Stefan Duar brings the first half to a close. The best chances to Dunbeholden, but it's been entertaining nevertheless. Arnett Gardens haven't been their fluent best, and their great attacking players have been starved of attention, especially that man who looks frustrated, Fabian Parker Blacks-Reed. Not able to add to his 75 goals so far this season. It's been a real tough matchup between these two. As expected, they shared results last season, and earlier this season they just couldn't break down each other. Just like tonight, they haven't been able to do it so far. After 45 minutes here at the Stadium East Field, it is Arnett Gardens 0, Dunbeholden 0. The Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League is happening here at the Stadium East Complex on the grounds of the National Stadium. 0-0 between Dunbeholden and Arnett Gardens. An exciting first half, but both teams are unable to break down the other, even though Dunbeholden had the best of the opportunities and brought a fantastic save from the teenager Asher Hutchinson. The fans have been well entertained for sure under the night skies here of the National Stadium East Field. Getting ready for the second half, Stephen Duar, the man with the whistle, the man in charge of this fixture. And the last of the team meeting, Fabian Reid, wearing the captain's armband, just passing on the words of advice to his younger teammates, and especially his strike partner in Warren Brown. What will this second half bring? Had a couple of big calls in the first half, especially early in the first half. Did Stefan Duar. There was a possible red card appeal against Shane Watson, and based on replays, it probably seems as if he should have been showed a yellow card. Was shown a yellow by Stefan Duar for intentional elbow, and then there was a big penalty showed for a push on Nicholas Nelson in the box, which wasn't given as well. Did look as if Nicholas Nelson had a good case. Anyhow, just about ready for the second half. And there goes the whistle. Arnett Gardens, of course, in their red with black strip and black shorts. Dunbeholden in the full blue with red trim. Five-time champions, Arnett Gardens. Their last hold on the title, though, came back in 2016-17 under the coaching style of one Jerome Waite. Actually finished that preliminary round in 6th position, did Arnett Gardens, and romped their way up to the title, something which was then repeated by Harbour View 2 seasons ago. Finished 6th and then lifted the title after a very inconsistent preliminary period. But since then, Arnett Gardens haven't been able to lift it. Dunbeholden, they did get to the final back in 2022. In a really their best season they've had since being a Premier League team. Fell at the hands of Harbour View on that occasion. Arnett Gardens on the ball, looking to get forward. Jaheim Thomas was looking for Smith. It would be an awkward one, and Thomas puts it out for a corner. Lenworth Hyde and his assistant Ricardo Smith. Quite a good wing-back and full-back in his time. Ricardo Smith did play for Harbour View and Arnett Gardens in his time. Arnett have a corner. Played short from Shepherd, rifled by Philando Wing, and again it's blocked by Ricardo Thomas.
He's always involved. Another corner to come in now. I assume it's a straight delivery. Dunbeholden trying to progress the play but failed on that occasion. But the pass not good enough by Jaheim Thomas to set free Warner Brown. And here come Dunbeholden again.
Yeah, wide on the right hand area. Thomas given the space by wing. Now with Smith. Smith cuts inside to Sigree. Out to Powell. Now Thomas. Thomas with the delivery. Lovely delivery. And Burkett has got to score there. Got to score, the teenager. 20 goals for St. George's in high school football. But this is another level, isn't it? Great work by Ricardo Thomas. I thought he lost the opportunity to deliver the ball, but Burkett has got to be finishing that. It should have been his second of the season. And Brian Burkett puts it over the bar. What a chance for Dunbeholden.
Arnett Garns looking to get the ball forward quickly. Chevrolet Watkin going through the back of Fabian Reed there. Arnett Garns coach Xavier Gilbert very frustrated, screaming, "Let us keep the ball, gents." Dunbeholden on it has been the theme of the game so far. Over 60% possession in the first half.
Long pass being attempted. Nelson picks it up. And Nelson overruns it. Nice pass over the top. And had Nelson taken it on the first bounce, he would have been in business. Here goes Burkett now to Nelson. The two of them partnering well. Nelson decides to cut it back and then lost the opportunity. A lot of red shirts getting behind the ball. McCarthy. Easy on the ball. Powell over the top looking for Nelson. Well defended by Watson. Not so sure about the clearance from Neil though. And it comes out now to Burton. Trying to play a 1-2 with Nelson. But they do look dynamic, do Dunbeholden. Not sure about their defending though. Here goes Fabian Reed. Probably the first chance he's got to actually face a Dunbeholden defender and run at them. But crowded out.
Yeah, didn't choose the right option. Rare that we say that one about Fabian Reed.
Didn't have much.
Had the free pass on the left-hand side.
Yeah. I just wonder if the position that he had turned, how he had positioned himself, if he actually didn't see the right-hand side, because he was kind of somewhat facing left. But yeah, didn't seem like he had many options. No, here's the option. What does Burkett choose to do? Plays it inside. It actually was Sigree and not Burkett. He was looking to slip in. Burkett was Sigree. And the pass didn't have enough pace on it. Marlon Martin did well. Now Arnett get to come away with Fabian Reed to Shepherd. Shepherd over the top. And it's too much on that, and it will go for Dunbeholden through.
I wonder how long it's going to take us to see Arnett Garns change something around, especially in that front three, maybe in their midfield as well. Maybe get some natural width on, but then again, not a lot of progression coming into those attacking players, so maybe that's where the changes need to start. But the changes might need to be structural, because no matter which midfielder is in there at this point, I can't foresee the fortunes changing of the team. Unable to keep possession very well. Not seeing too much of a coaching change either. System change, I should say. for Arnett.
Yeah, not many wide players when you look at their squad. So hence, as we did talk about, using Warner Brown as a wide player in a 4-3-3 is not necessarily ideal because he's a striker, and so is Fabian Reid. And when you think back to the kind of players they used to have, you look back to Ronaldo Cephas and Steve Clark, and then more recently Damari Deacon. Very good wide players that added the width, and they were natural in the wide areas. Kimani Arboin could play as a wide player as well. All of those players have gone, and now what they've found themselves with is many more central players who you're now asking to play as a winger.
Yeah, because I think all of the 3 attacking players that they have on the pitch this evening, that's a good pass, well defended, but all 3 of them, I think, obviously Fabian Reid is an out-and-out striker, and then we think about Warner Brown, who is usually deployed as an out-and-out striker, and even Shea Smith. I see his profile as more of an interior who would like to have an overlapping fullback and playing those half spaces, playing central zones as more of a goal-scoring winger, as opposed to an out-and-out one because of somewhat of a lack of pace, doesn't love to take on players that much. So you mentioned that they don't have a lot of out-and-out wingers in the squad. Maybe that's something that they can adjust in the transfer market, or possibly just give the only out-and-out winger they have in Rashiki Kelson more game time.
Yeah, and then Kelson is more of a number 10, which is literally what he wears as well. I think Kelson is actually an attacking midfielder who, you know, so as you rightfully say, their squad doesn't really have a lot of out-and-out wingers anymore. I think Shea Smith could play that role, but I take your point that speed is not necessarily, well, he's not using to exploit that as much. So yeah, but Shea Smith's probably the closest thing to a wing-like player, but definitely Warner Brown, Fabian Reid, they are strikers. They have a corner now, and it's a cross, nice delivery. And Joel Cunningham, was it? Yeah. Rising high, but heading wide of the upright. Hyatt wasn't happy with the defending. So yeah, that's probably something they'll need to adjust on at Gans, or they have to change their formation from 4-3-3 to something else. And if you think about the last few games where they have been criticized for being too narrow, that's why, because their players are not natural wingers, so they don't look to pull wide. They want to get central to the goal.
And even in some of their fullback depth, someone like Philando Wing, I do think is poor pass out there by Asher Hutchinson.
Yeah, that's not the right idea from Hutchinson.
And that's not what we're accustomed to seeing from him either. But someone like Philando Wing, although he is a left back, he can keep the width on that left-hand side. He is very adept at that, and we've seen him do that. But in this current setup, in these past games, Arnett Gardens have been able to keep the ball enough for him to advance and stay in those wide areas. So a lot of things for Arnett Gardens to figure out as the season winds down. Corner comes in from Smith.
Looking to get forward. There is a handball from Martin, and it will be a free kick in a dangerous position. Sigri was looking to flick it over Marlon Martin's head. And this is a real opportunity here for Dunbeholden. I'm sure Nelson will be favourite.
I think it's actually quite interesting. I think another option could actually be Brian Burkett, who we've seen scored so many quality free kicks, but he's in the big leagues now. I think they're going to draw rank, and I don't even see him anywhere close to the ball.
Plus, as a left footer, it's not necessarily the preferred angle. It would more suit a right footer. I think this will be Nelson. Thomas also has the ability, but with Nelson on the park, I think, and a 6-goal man this season, I think it's going to be him. It's not going to be Nelson. Nelson looks to go through the wall. Appeals for a handball. He was never going to get that. Poor execution from Nelson. in the middle of the wall as well. Certainly didn't get the height. And a disappointing end to a promising Dunbeholden attack. Warner Brown offside. Here they go again. Powell to Smith. Back to Powell. Nelson has pulled wide. That wasn't the right pass from Segree. Looking for Reed, but he's been double teamed generally, Fabian Reed. I'm a bit surprised at that call. I don't think Shea Smith did much wrong. Just used his height, Shea Smith. No real use of the arms there.
Another reason why I think he would be suited in central areas, Shea Smith. Not that he has too much of a leap on him, but he's a quite tall player. Could see him impacting games in that way as well.
Yeah. Watkins to Smith. The SportsMax app, download it today from your Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. Home of champions. Download it and watch all the sports content. Of course, cricket, lovely cricket. Australia versus the West Indies coming up on Tuesday. Premier League action. UEFA Champions League action. Premier League in Trinidad and Tobago. And lots more sport content. WTA tennis. And of course the sport of champions, horse racing as well. Big on the home of champions. How much do you know your horse racing, DJ Williams? As Kelson, you spoke about him. Here he comes, Rashiki Kelson. For Jaheim Thomas, who hasn't been the best showing from their number 18.
It would have been hard for him to have a good showing, especially with the lack of supposed quality, I think, in Arnett guards, especially in progressing players I mentioned in the first half.
62nd minute substitution here for Arnett.
Just under half an hour to go. Still looking for the first goal. Smith looking to flick that over Powell's head, but it doesn't work out. Smith. Back to Smith. The touch isn't perfect, but it works out. Powell. And that's going to be an Arnett throw. Looking to play that over the top, but not accurate enough, and Fabian McCarthy bring things under control. Nice touch there by Powell. Finds Nelson. Back to Powell. Into the place of Smith. Trips over it but recovers quickly, and then that's a foul for sure from Marlon Martin. Dunbeholden take it quickly. Fabian McCarthy almost finds his way through to Nelson. Back to Nelson now. Nicholas Nelson. Good turn. The finish. Oh no. It's blocked on the line. Comes to Nelson. I'm sure Nelson is offside. Yes, he is. Finds the finish, Nicholas Nelson, but it won't count. The flag is up. And actually, Asher Hutchinson is down.
I think he's pulled off a second worldie of a save, you know. How did Dunbeholden find the back of the net?
It was Shaquem Powell who had the attempt to the open goal after the skill from Nelson. Look at this build-up play here. Not the best defensive work from Joel Cunningham there. It comes to Nelson, who hesitates. Not a bad move. Plays Powell, and it's Hutchinson who gets down again. Not the greatest conviction in the strike from Powell, it must be said. And then the finish from Nelson. Apparently he was offside. Phil on the wing almost played him onside. Here was Thomas with the strike. Yeah, I think he was coming from an offside position. What a save again from Asher Hutchinson.
Yeah, he's really kept Arnett Gardens in this game, you know. Reminding folks why at the age of just 18 he was called up to a national team squad. In 2023, Asher Hutchinson went back to the Da Costa Cup, to my surprise, this past schoolboy football season. Did extremely well, 10 clean sheets in the Da Costa Cup, 4 Dintil Technical, went to the semi-final of the Da Costa Cup as well. Back with Arnett Gardens now, and with Eric Edwards out. Well, if Asher Hutchinson continues to put in performances like this, it might be tough for the Arnett Gardens 55, but actually, in essence, they're number one to get back into the team over there. Actual number one. Excellent save.
Yeah, well, Hutchinson will have a few more weeks, as based on his interview with Janae, it's at least, what, 2 to 3 more weeks before he'll return. And I wonder if that means return to training. So, yeah. But yeah, good performance from Hutchinson. Here's Arnett Gardens driving for chance! What a save, Damien Hart! And then the follow-up is scored by Fabian Reid. Goal for Arnett Gardens. Yep, that's how it's done. This is the league we want to watch. What a goal for Arnett Gardens. And Fabian Reid, he has been kept out of the action so far. But as we said in the first half, he just wants a peek to take the sneak preview and to create the entire movie. He has done that. Number 76 of the career of Fabian Reid in the Jamaica Premier League. Great run by Warner Brown. You see his talent in central positions, Lijay. And Fabian Reid, well, he took it home.
And just one injection of pace into the play by Arnett Gardens. That's all they needed. And speaking of all they need, it's Fabian Reid. He's back amongst the goals yet again. Took a small break out. But for Arnett Gardens, he has so often been their Superman. And he's here saving them again. Dunbeholden against the run of play. Her 1 goal behind.
Certainly against the run of play. Arnett Gardens have had nothing going forward. But such is the quality of their strikers. You just can't give them an opportunity. And Warner Brown, who had been deployed out wide right throughout the match, basically looked out of sorts in those wide areas. But once you get him into those central regions, it all comes back. Warner Brown, nice run, nice change of pace initially, just to push it off, and then the strike. It was a good initial save from Damien Hyatt, but he couldn't push it out of the business area. And Fabian Reid has been there and done that so many times, he wasn't going to miss. Second on the season, by the way, for Fabian Reid. Here they go again. Kelson into the area. Good first touch. Kelson! Blocked by Hyatt. I'm not sure if the strike was the right idea from Kelson on his weaker right side.
That's actually what I wanted to mention. Oshiki Kelson, the injection of pace that he added into that move. And it must be said, that's a poor foul actually by Jamon Shepherd.
Yeah, he will be in the book, Shepherd.
And Brian Burkett. 2 former Georgians as well.
Third Dunbeholden player to go in the book. Third Arnett Gardens player, sorry, to go in the book.
Well, a former Georgian and a current one. But Rashiki Kelson, that small touch around the corner to get in Warner Brown in the first place. As we see that Shana challenge again.
Ooh.
It was an elbow.
Yeah.
Same thing that a lot of Dunbeholden players would have been complaining about.
It was a short jab from Burkett.
Diminutive player, but
cheeky.
certainly a feisty one, Brian Burkett.
Yeah, that was a cheeky move, and obviously wasn't seen from Stefan Duar. He would have had the back of Burkett or the near side. So yeah, Burkett getting away with that, but that was cheeky.
And won the foul as well.
Shepherd is still down. He made good contact, and because it was in close range, you know the power of that coming out there. It's not as if your arm would have gotten a chance to extend and lose the power coming from close into the hip there. Yeah, he would have felt that. And Dunbeholden, who thought they were totally controlling this game. Arnett Gans having nothing going, and just like that. And Fabian Reid continues to enjoy his scoring against Dunbeholden. Scored in both matches last season, the 1-0 win and the 4-2 loss. And now has turned up to score yet again. It seems as if Shepherd has recovered. Here goes Dunbeholden. A bit of a nosebleed as well for Shepherd, but it seems as if they've stopped it for now, and he's back on.
Really good impact by Rashiki Kelson since coming on, showing some defensive work on that occasion.
Smith looking to play in. Damani, but Donovan Sigri. Roger Smith with the corner. Good delivery towards the near post. Was looking to flick that on was Nicholas Nelson. And then that one was too central from Smith. Hutchinson with the quick release, and away goes Jamon Shepherd. Has lots of space. By no means a natural goal scorer. Plays in Reid, or does he? Tries to play in Reid, but he was offside. Nice pass inside. Here is Nelson. Nelson with a chance. Nelson! Safe hands, Asher Hutchinson. That was bending back towards him. He was aiming for the far corner. You saw what he was trying, Nelson. But he would have to have started that outside the post.
Yeah, tried to use the defender as a guide. Bend it around him, but as you mentioned, didn't start it wide enough to curl back in.
Yeah, and has scored a couple of those last season.
One of them this season as well.
Free kick to Arnett Gardens. Gerald Neal Jr. Back to Hutchinson. Arnett Gardens with the lead. So they don't mind us keeping possession. even though that's not naturally their style. We just got a shot a few moments ago of Alex Cale, who is warming up for Dunbeholden. 2 goals so far this season. Here goes Arnett again. Brown is wide and decides to go for the strike. Is that Kelson? Or was it Fabian Reed? Yeah, I think it got actually Kelson with the hit, but a weak attempt. I'm surprised he didn't play in Warner Brown a bit earlier, who had space. That was not necessarily going to work out for Nelson. A flick on header, but not in the right line of play, and Arnett can come forward yet again. Neil, just a hopeful pass up, turns it back over to Watkin. Long pass, out of play, through to Arnett Gardens. Dunbeholden losing a little bit of their fluidity.
Yeah, look a bit flustered since conceding that goal, Dunbeholden.
Will be quite annoying to Lenny Hyde, as you said. All he could talk about in his interview was the need to do better defensively, and that they're conceding too many goals. But we still think that goal scoring is an issue for this Dunbeholden team, and they haven't scored yet again. This is their 14th game, and they only have 13 goals. That will be a booking for Neil. Silly.
But they're actually coming up against a team that is actually an expert in keeping clean sheets. Arnett Gardens so far this season, 7 clean sheets, one of the highest marks in the league. So despite them concede, when they do concede quite a number of goals, as seen with their loss to Tivoli, their loss to Mount Pleasant as well. Also their loss to Cavalier. That's 9, I believe, in 3 games. But this would make 8 clean sheets from 14 games. So when they are solid, they are solid. They just need to, I suppose, do that against the bigger teams. And I think this is a step in the right direction in doing that. And they're going to be preparing 2 substitutes to try and see out this lead. Yeah. Shane Thompson, who has been on the score sheet this season, so too Shavani Willis.
Interested to see Willis back in the fold now. And yeah, Thompson. More attacking changes than defensive, though.
Sometimes bringing on fresh attackers.
It's the best line of defense.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's the Arnett Gardens way, isn't it?
It really is. Could help them with the forward press as well, try and stifle this Dunbeholden team.
Thompson now is actually a player who is a wing player. Could be used there. Not Thompson, actually. I was actually thinking of Granville, who is not being utilized just yet. But he's a player who could play wide when we're talking about wingers. Anyhow, one of the so-called wingers that started the game is off. In Shea Smith, and also coming off Jamon Shepherd, who took a blow to the face. There we see Shepherd off and Shavani Willis on. bigger body in the middle of the park. And
78 minutes substitution for the
Thompson as well. Dunbeholden finally making that change with Alex Gale. Confirmation of Thompson coming on for Shepherd. And Roger Smith has run his race. And the ever energetic Alex Gale is on.
Thompson replacing number 7.
12 minutes to go. Arnett Gardens with a 1-goal advantage.
It's Dunbeholden 0, Arnett Gardens 1.
Confirmation of the Alex Gale for Roger Smith substitution.
79 minutes substitution for the Dunbeholden team. Number 23, Alex Gale coming in. Number 27, Roger Smith, player coming home.
Willis, first involvement to Neil. Oh, what skill from Warner Brown. He has that about him, but just not on the same wavelength in the end with Kelson, who had kind of turned his back on him. Kelson. And Dunbeholden. Bigger gaps in the midfield now. A lot more players sitting back, and so there's a much bigger space to cover and no connectivity with the likes of Nelson. Here's Nelson now, forced to come deep. Nelson now goes into the book for his use of the arm. Well, these arms are plentiful.
When will these players learn?
There was a push from Willis. So that one wasn't an elbow or anything, but some fingers in the face. And Nelson sees yellow. It will be a free kick to Arnett Gardens. Although Brown of the Warner variety has gone down. Here's a SportsMax app moment brought to you by, of course, the SportsMax app. And it's this save. Look at this. Magnificent from Acha Hutchinson. He came out of nowhere, almost like Mandrake. First of all, the first hit from Stephen Williams, he was beaten there, but then totally out of frame, finds himself there to deny Nicholas Nelson his 7th goal of the season. And I think that's the save of the season from Acha Hutchinson. And he's probably leading in the race for man of the match, Acha Hutchinson.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt for me.
Download that SportsMax app. You can watch it yet again and again. Obviously do it from your Google Play Store or the Apple App Store and watch all the sporting content that the home of champions has to offer. Cricket, tennis, football, horse racing and more. 83rd minute and Arnett Gardens have a free kick. Willis to take. Not the best delivery and it's cleared. Launch back in. Good chest control initially by Kelson. And then it's cleared and out for a corner. Corner to be taken by Kelson. Not a bad delivery by any means. Fabian Reed was thinking about the acrobatics, pulled out at the last minute. And that is deflected and will be out for another corner. David Hyatt with some choice words. Apologies for them, not really happy with how his team is defending and obviously frustrated that they would have conceded. Over the top looking for Reed. And the defensive header finds its way back to Hyatt, who did win with Arnett Gardens in his time representing them. Damien Hyatt. Here goes Arnett Gardens again. It's Kelson and he's pushed in the back by Alex Gale, the substitute. And it's a foul on the edge of the 18-yard area.
He's been the definition of a super sub since making his way on the pitch. Kelson, that's a sure foul as well. Extended arm in the back.
And obviously given a yellow card for dissent, because I don't think it was just the initial challenge, but he had a lot to say after. Quite a few players in the book. Here the most recent of them. Less than 5 minutes to go. It's 5th versus 6th. Arnett Gardens with a win will take them up to 27 points. Based on their goal difference, they won't overtake either Cavalier or Portmore, who also sit on 27 at the moment. So they would go into fourth position because they would leapfrog Tivoli. Here's a free kick. Lots of power behind it, but always going over from Willis. Yeah, Tivoli, currently sit on 24 points, the same as Arnett. So a win here for the time being would put them over Tivoli. Tivoli, though, with a superior goal difference. So if they were to win in their game, they would go back ahead of Arnett. But for now, Arnett would go into 4th. And Dunbeholden clearly would remain in 6th. Not a good pass by Burkett. He's been rather quiet since his missed header some moments before. Nice pass to Burton. Burton out to Burkett. Burkett looking to get onto the foot. Chance for Nelson. Cuts inside. What is he waiting on, Nelson? Goes for a toe poke to the back post. And Powell was offside, yeah. Because Powell, as well as Gale, were waiting almost on the goal line. Not sure what Nelson was thinking there.
Yeah, if he cut it back, he had to take a shot there. That was my assumption. I'm sure that was the assumption of everybody else. Burkett did well. Sucked in the pressure.
The angle was difficult, though.
Yeah.
So, and with a lot of players back for Arnett, I guess he just didn't trust the left foot. But yeah, the toe punch, not necessarily the right idea there. Threw off his teammates. Not much time to go. And Dunbeholden, good touch by Burkett, finds Nelson. Nelson with one to beat. Can he get past him? No, he can't. And Martin is there to clean up as well. This has been one of the better attacking displays for Dunbeholden this season, even though they haven't found a goal, and yet they're on the losing end of things.
That's just the cruelty of football sometimes if you don't take your chances. And the Gardens haven't had many, but they certainly took one of the few chances. Yeah, they certainly took one of the few chances that they've had. Fabian Reed. Who else but Fabian Reed?
Neil under pressure. Does well. Finds Kelson. Uses a right foot this time, but it was a difficult pass for Rashane Thompson. McCarthy back to Burton, and they turn it over. Frustration for Dunbeholden. Fabian Reid coming back into the starting lineup after a bit of a hamstring injury, and has been his usual solid self, but his team have not been able to put away the chances that they have got. Commits the foul, does McCarthy, on his opposite number. Marlon Martin, who has had a good game as well, Martin, as he usually does. In fact, hasn't been overly aggressive as we're used to seeing. Not really known for his finesse at all, Marlon Martin, but definitely makes this back line of Arnett Gardens so much more solid because of his work as a defensive midfielder. Look, here he is getting back again. Gets a little nibble and again wins it, but illegally so. But nevertheless, he's always working. Here goes Kelson, using his speed against Watkin, who is out of position. Watkin is in trouble. Using his hand, Watkin, dangerous. Brings down Kelson. And well, nothing doing, says the officials, but for quite a while, the extended arm of Watkin must have been a bother for the Dunbeholden team. He gets away with it. And that's going to be a card for Fabian Reid. Kicks the ball into the stands. Quite surprising reaction for a player of his experience, and the fact that they are leading. That doesn't waste any time, especially nowadays. 6 minutes of stoppages to be played. And we're into the second minute. Dunbeholden with the delivery towards the back post. Watson rises well. Away by Granville. Gale into the area. And Sigri, or was it Watkin, who was rising but couldn't get to it. He's ventured forward, has Chevoy Watkin. Very good aerially, has scored already this season as well. I think you have already made up your mind, Ligier, that Asher Hutchinson, if the scoreline remains the same, is your man of the match.
Yeah, something really dramatic has to happen for me to change that line of thought.
Like a Fabian Reid bicycle kick. He was trying one earlier,
yeah,
to give you something to think about.
Maybe a Fabian McCarthy strike from the half line as well.
We haven't seen one of those since James High days. There's an appeal for a penalty. No, says Stefan Duar. That's probably because Dunbeholden looked like they were searching for it on that occasion. Reid just holding up the play. Then Neil launches it into the stands. Can they survive Arnett Gardens? This would be a good case, or a perfect situation of a pretty loss being better than an ugly win. No, I got that wrong. An ugly win is better than a pretty loss.
You explained it perfectly, just like Theodore Whitmore did.
Nelson asking for handball. McCarthy with the throw. Here goes Powell. Powell can't find a blue shirt. McCarthy is there again. Burton does well to Powell. Powell into a dangerous area. Powell again. And this time it's cleared by Cunningham.
All hands to the pump really for Arnett Gardens.
Less than 2 minutes to go in stoppages. Powell again, this time with a long throw, looking for Gale, and it will be a Dunbeholden corner. Powell to take it. Towards the back post, wasn't a bad delivery, and Hutchinson, solid and safe. And he'll eat up as much of the clock as possible. Another frustrating evening for Linworth Hyde, Ricardo Smith and company. Yes, they've conceded again, but it's been a double whammy because they have failed to score. And now more matches than goals. Going forward, I think that's a bigger issue, because they haven't really defensively given many opportunities. In fact, that was the only real chance that they have given up, if you think about it. I can't remember another real out-and-out chance for Arnett Gardens. So that move from Warner Brown that created the chance for Fabian Reid has really been it. So defensively, apart from that, a pretty solid performance from them, but they're just not scoring enough. Free kick for Dunbeholden. The 6 minutes have now expired. Launched into the area. And well, Dunbeholden are standing around and looking at it. And now they give it away with Reid. Reid is going to run towards the corner flag, I'm sure. There he goes. Doesn't win the foul. Challenge from Thompson. They have to get it upfield quickly. Do Dunbeholden. There's not much time to go. Thomas wide to Gale. Certainly taking their time, Dunbeholden. He's going to blow his whistle, Stefan Duar. This is the last chance. Here go Arnett Gardens. And that is it. Arnett Gardens have played second fiddle to Dunbeholden, but they have come away with the 3 points. An important 3 points that takes them up to fourth in the table, ahead of Tivoli. Fabian Reid, as he has done so many times, finds the winner. The 76th in his Jamaica Premier League career to sink Dunbeholden and execute their 5th defeat of the season. They concede yet again, much to the frustration of Linworth Hyde and company. But even more than that, they have failed to score as well. Nicholas Nelson had a great opportunities, couldn't score. He's kept on 6 in his season. Marlon Martin, he had a solid performance as well. But it's the Junglists that come away with the 3 points. Arnett Gardens 1, Dunbeholden 0 at full time. The full match highlights, Stefan Duar, FIFA central referee in charge of this fixture. And quite a busy one it was early. Nicholas Nelson took that nicely. Thought he had a real shout for a penalty on that occasion, wasn't given. And then this move. The strike first by Stephen Williams, a follow-up by Nelson, who must have thought he found the back of the net. But Asher Hutchinson with a brilliant save of the season for me. And part of what made him be the unanimous man for the player of the match. Then this opportunity for Brian Burkett, had to score there. 20 goals in his schoolboy season this season, Brian Burkett. And I'm sorry, but that should have been his second of his Premier League season. Missed a chance over the top, and that was the story of Dunbeholden's evening. Chances that not converted. That one was for Powell, and Asher Hutchinson with another telling save. Then that was put in the back of the net, but Nelson was offside. And Dunbeholden just couldn't find their way past Arnett Gardens, legally at least. Nelson then with this, and this was a save again from Hutchinson. Big save it was. This is just another angle of it. And then Nelson, he had a finish, but he was offside. Thought he had number 7 on the season to match last year's season, Nelson, but it wasn't to be. Then Arnett Gardens, this moment, lovely pass by Kelson, but the first touch from Warner Brown was something to behold. How he took that into his stride. Had the first strike. Look at his first touch from Warner Brown. Exquisite. The strike was well saved by Damien Hyatt, but he could do nothing by the follow-up of Fabian Reid, who added his second of the season. Reid, he wasn't going to miss from there. And Dunbeholden were beaten against the run of play. And he says to everyone in the crowd, it's me, I can do no wrong. Kelson, he had opportunities after coming off the bench. That with his Rico right foot, couldn't pass Hyatt. And then Nelson pending one, but Asher Hutchinson was just too good on the day. Hutchinson then again in good position and making it difficult for Nelson, who poked that across the area to Powell, and his shot was wide. 1-0 to the Junglists after 90 minutes. They were more clinical, were Arnett Gardens. 4 on target from their 9 attempts. Dunbeholden had 4 on target as well from 15 attempts. They just had to do better. Some 28 fouls between the two. 7 yellow cards shown by referee Stefan Duar, but he managed to keep all 22 players on the park. There were 4 saves for Arnett Gardens. Main man in Asher Hutchinson, 3 for Damien Hyatt. And Dunbeholden with the majority of the possession, but they just couldn't get that blank changed. It's Arnett Gardens 1, Dunbeholden 0 after 90 minutes. Leger Williams is with the man of the match, none other than Asher Hutchinson.
Yeah, Asher Hutchinson, man of the match. Excellent display, some great saves, but judging by your calm demeanor, I'm guessing this is just something that you're used to.
Kinda.
And you know, he came into the team. Usually, when you get a run in the Arnett team, you're extremely successful. Is that something that's your aim for you this season?
Yes, it's a lot of hard work.
And you know, last season you got that national call-up. Is that something that you're seeking out again?
Definitely.
I know this Arnett Gardens team, they're a quality team. You missed out on the title last season. Do you want to win it all this year?
That's my aim for this season.
All right, really excellent performance and best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
And now we'll be speaking with some member of the Dunbeholden coaching staff. Definitely not the performance that they would have wanted in a game like this, a top 6 clash. A lot of issues within that camp at the current moment, but they definitely didn't get the result that they would have wanted. Dunbeholden, of course, went to the final of the Jamaica Premier League the season before last season, snuck into the top 6, but didn't make it too far. And a new management now, Lenny Teacher Hyde, of course. A lot of changes in playing staff as well. Still playing the usual Dunbeholden way, but couldn't get the result today. But a man who could get the result today was Coach Xavier Gilbert. Coach, it was a really tough game. You're under the cash for a lot of it, but in the end you got that all-important win.
Yeah, to be honest, I must give credit to Dunbeholden. They did a lot of things, and we just couldn't manage them, especially in the first half. You know, I was happy that we got the halftime break. I mean, they really put us to the sword, and we were fortunate to have gone in 0-0 at halftime. We made some adjustments. They still came back at us. They came aggressive, and I thought that we managed a little bit better in the second half, and it was a game where we managed to score our opportunity, and they didn't.
And it must be said, you were struggling a bit, and I really think that your substitutes, especially Rashiki Kelson, made such a huge difference to the tempo of the game in particular.
Yeah, and that was what we needed. You know, I didn't think we were handling the ball good enough in the middle. You know, in stages, in patches, we did well to get it, but when we got to the middle third, we just give it back right to them. You know, he's very good on the ball, and we wanted that. We thought that he could have made a difference at that point in time, and I mean, and he did.
A really good win today, and much congratulations.
Yeah, man, thanks, I appreciate it.
Here with Lenny Teacher Hyde now. Coach, it wasn't the best of performances. You played well in some aspects, but the finishing in particular, you didn't get it done today.
Let us down today, and we still gave up a goal, you know. So I saw the football go. I love how the team play. For most part of the game, we had control, we were passing the ball, we moving well off the ball. We created numerous chances that we should have put away. But when you don't do them things, they go score problem. I mean, I like the cliche thing, you know. We just need to step up, train harder, and come again. The league not finishing until June, and we are in the top 6, so we have to try and maintain that position and try even go up the scale. So I'm pleased with what I see tonight. I see some improvement in our play. I see some improvement in the attitude of the players on the pitch. We just have to continue work and hope we'll get it right the next game.
And you know, Chris and I were saying on commentary that this is one of the better attacking performances we've seen from him this season, but he couldn't get the goal. Before the game, you mentioned that it was the defense that was letting you down. You didn't keep the clean sheet, but I'm sure you still have a little bit of a concern about the attack.
No, the goalkeeper step up. And the goal was excellent tonight. He's the one that caused us not to score a goal tonight. He made 2 brilliant saves, but I thought would be in the back of the net. But I saw it go, we just have to come again. I saw football go, we just have to continue working and build a chemistry and a love there in the camp. And that we need to do, you know?
And much respect, Coach. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Bless up.
Well, this is how the table looks now after that Arnett Gardens win. They move up to 4th position. They leap from Tivoli into 4th. Dunbeholden still in 6th position with 21 points, 2 ahead of 7th place Waterhouse, who will have a match. Mount Pleasant and Portmore, of course, still in the top 2, 28 and 27 respectively. Treasure Beach and Lime Hall, the 2 recently promoted teams, well, they're in the relegation zone. Malines, with their win today, move up to 11 points, so 4 away from the drop zone, and that was a big 3 points for Jermaine Thomas and his team. And as you can see there, Cavalier and Arnett as well in the playoff spots, which is where they like to remain, hence they are in the green. And yeah, Vera United, who played today as well, remain in 8th position after that loss with 18 points. And you just never know what Harbourview and Montego Bay United may come up with. And Vera could be in some trouble in terms of moving further down in this Jamaica Premier League table. Of course, the top 6 teams qualify for the playoffs. The 2 automatic, for top 2 automatic to the semi-finals. JPL on SportsMax Plus will continue live on Wednesday at 4:30 p.m., 5:30 in the Eastern Caribbean. Cavalier against Harbourview, 2021 champions against the 2022 champions in Harbourview, Stars of the East. 2-time champions Cavalier, 5-time champions Harbourview. What a mouth-watering match that promises to be. Don't miss it. Well, it's been a beauty here at the Stadium East Field. Chris Taylor here on commentary alongside Lijay Williams, who brought the action and the analysis for us here at the Stadium East Field. It's been Arnett Gardens who run away with the 3 points with a top performance over Dunbeholden. 1-0 in the end, sucked up the pressure, but got the job done. And a remarkable match here under the lights at the National Stadium. The Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League here on SportsMax, the home of champions. It's been a pleasure.